Hello, everybody. Spot of Nerd here. And if you're not paying attention, I will make sure you're paying attention now, because the sad truth, and man, it just seems to be nothing but sad truth coming from Disney over the past few years, for that matter. It's official. Star Wars is officially dead. And I guess you might say I was a little late to the game, only by like a day or so, because there is Star Wars Celebration currently going on in London. And to put it bluntly, to put it sadly, to put it just realistically, the show has been an absolute disaster. It has been nothing but, I guess, what we've already known to be true, and that is the death of this franchise. And, it's a mixed bag of feelings. It's a mixed bag of emotions, because are you sad? Sure. Did you see it coming? Absolutely. Do you care? Not really. And I'll kind of go into a little bit about why that's the case, and I would love it for your opinion too. If you're a Star Wars fan, tell me your thoughts from the news that you've been hearing with the celebration, or maybe you're just learning about it here with this podcast. So, two of the biggest announcements so far, this is, again, it's only about halfway through. There might be some more information for the Sunday and Monday days at Celebration. But so far, the biggest news, we had the teaser trailer for the new Ahsoka series, and they obviously announced that there will be a new Star Wars film about the new Jedi Order, and it will have none other than Daisy Ridley herself reprising her role as Rey Palpatine, or as you know it, Rey Skywalker. The funniest shit I have ever seen in my entire life, and I have said this many times throughout my time here with Spot of Nerd, specifically on my YouTube channel, and of course throughout the history of this channel, different episodes. I have no ill will, and I have no, I don't know what the word is. I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact Kathleen Kennedy is the reason Star Wars is dead. There is no doubt about it that you ask me personally, I think she on purpose destroyed this franchise. And I think it really did start with The Last Jedi, with Ruin Johnson, as we call him, because he has taken this entire franchise, and she has taken this franchise and taken the largest shit on the planet all over it. And you can see it. Again, just to briefly side topic, if you're currently watching The Mandalorian, this show has become tragic. The number one show that gave Disney Plus its start is officially now over. And I don't mean literally over. There's still 2 more episodes in this season. But it is over in the fact that you had fucking, what's her face? Oh god, I'm blanking on the name. The singer, the we'll just say the person that is healthy, as they would say today's world, something like the Stallion chick or whatever, the musician, whatever her name was. They had her in a Star Wars show. I mean, I think that's where I'm just like, I'm fumbling words because I don't know how to describe the insanity that you have put even Jack Black into the world of Star Wars. Those are things that simply do not mix. It is like mixing poop and ice cream. It just doesn't mix. It is absolute. I mean, it's hysterical, but it's also tragic and pathetic at the same time. To actually believe that you thought that this was something we wanted, that this had any relation, any sort of contribution to the Star Wars universe. And what I'm getting at, the funniest shit about the celebration so far. So you have these panels, they come out, these special guests come out onto the main stage, and you can see it. They're live streaming this on YouTube, and they're also, you can just see videos from people that are there and recording it. And it is fucking hilarious because the panel hosts on 2 different occasions. So they'll announce one of the guests, and everybody's screaming, everybody's losing their minds. This one specifically that I can recall was from the making of Andor. I was on the first day. And so they're bringing out the director, and they're just losing their minds because, again, Andor is genuinely a really good show. And then the next person they bring on is Kathleen Kennedy. And you, as one of there's the Nerdrotic, some of his group, one of the best things I heard from them was the moment you heard Kathleen Kennedy, you could hear a mouse fart in a room filled with around probably 10 to 20,000 people. And it's fucking hilarious because not only that, but you know that she knows as well that nobody likes her. Everybody blames her for the destruction of this franchise. And it is hopefully only a matter of time before she is given the boot and kicked out, because it is her sole responsibility of, I mean, you're talking billions in lost revenue to Disney. But you gotta keep pushing those agendas. You gotta keep pushing the woke crap, because that's apparently what people want, even though we are literally showing you day in and day out. Disney has now had to lay off 7,000 people. You've lost 2 million subscribers from your Disney Plus streaming service. But let's keep pushing this stuff because that's what people want. Are you not? I mean, you cannot be that stupid. You really cannot be that stupid to think that is what people want. I have always held to this, and I will say this forever, no matter how many reviews I do, or whatever we talk about. We go to our shows, specifically, like, let's just use Star Wars for this reference, to escape the world, to escape the politics, the agendas, the wokeness, the crap, everything in between. We go to it to escape. How have you elite bastards not figured that out yet? It is not rocket science, because it is proven. Again, if you watch Andor, guess what? They leave that crap out. They actually just give us a fucking amazing story. The Mandalorian, Season 1, and I'll even give you Season 2, phenomenal fucking story. You even give us Luke Skywalker after the Return of the Jedi. Fucking amazing stuff. And then you just go off on this tangent of nowhere, of like, where are you going here? And then you bring Jack Black and Lizzo, or whatever her name was, the musician. Are you fucking kidding? You wonder why? I mean, come on. Even a blind guy could see the truth. So there's that part, and then, going off, I mean, I guess we'll talk about it before we get to the Daisy Ridley side of it. It is, again, you watch this Ahsoka trailer, which is the new live-action series, which is going to kind of incorporate if you ever watched the Rebels, which was similar to the Clone Wars, it's like a CGI animated show, which I do really think it was a fantastic show. Clone Wars was obviously the better of the two, but it really does kind of continue that story in a newer, more Empire-related situation. So this will be the first time we kind of see a live-action Rebels mixed with Ahsoka, even though Ahsoka will probably be, of course, the main character, the main story arc. But, and I don't mean this is going to sound really bad, but again, I encourage you to go watch some of these folks from Nerdrotic, because they're describing it perfectly, that when you're watching this teaser trailer, there is no emotion. There's very few words being spoken, and it's all women. And lo and behold, what do you know? Guess who the villain is? An old white dude. Like, you cannot make this shit up anymore, people. That's why I'm just being very blunt and honest when I'm telling you, like, they are trying to make this a point. They are trying to drive a narrative. And what you're doing is what you're actually doing the opposite, because when we see shit like that, we instantly go, nah, I'm good. I don't need to see that. Well, but it's Star Wars. No, that's not Star Wars. And that's my point. 100% my point. That is not Star Wars. That is the worst. I think, again, if you've ever known me deep enough, I've always said the worst compliment I could ever give you is to tell you that you are just like everybody else. And it's very similar in this situation, where the way Star Wars has gone and is going to be going, you're now just like everything else. You're not special. You're not different. You're not unique. You are simply just like everyone else. And it's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. Because as a huge fan, obviously I love these stories. I love these characters. I love everything about it. But we simply, at this point, we have to put our foot down and say, no, we're done. It's over. We're tired of it. You know, we tried. We really did. But we just simply can't watch this anymore. We can't get back into something, and we can't really drive a future that simply isn't there. And that's the bottom line, and that's the truth of it. Because this is where things get interesting. Spoiler if you haven't seen the Rebels, Clone Wars, etc. To kind of really give it down to a Cliff Notes, they genuinely might start giving us a multiverse of some sort with Star Wars. At the end of Rebels, there's like this time traveling, there's different phases where like Ezra can go back in time and he can go into the future. So with Star Wars Celebration, they also announced this new movie with the Jedi New Order, and it's going to, of course, feature Rey. Now, rumor mill is, speculation is, Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, will somehow tie into this live-action film. They're going to do some sort of time jump, or backwards, or forwards, or whatever it might be. And again, this is where it gets just so pathetic. So it was a very similar situation if you watched the actual panel where Daisy came back on stage. And again, you could barely hear a pin drop because it was so quiet. And, you know, what it comes down to, and this is just my views, my opinion, Disney at this point, they really are, their hands are tied, because they have to go all in on Rey. They have to. You cannot just solely depend on Baby Yoda to drive your sales, to drive your merchandise, your movies, your franchises, everything. You cannot depend on one animatronic baby. And when you started off with the New Order and everything in between, you had Rey. And even I will hand on my heart, cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. I have a tattoo of Rey on my arm from The Force Awakens, because I really enjoyed that film. I don't care what anybody else says. It was only when The Last Jedi came on that it was on life support after that, and then it's now officially dead. But what I'm trying to get at is, it's not a case of, we aren't knocking the character Rey. We're not knocking Daisy Ridley. We're knocking the fact that Disney has chosen to use her as a scapegoat to try and revolutionize or revitalize this fan base, this story, this Star Wars. They've spent so much money on their theme parks, on these Disney cruises and these hotels, whatever, and they're driving the success from what I guess was The Force Awakens, and they're hoping they can somehow rebound it with these future movies. And if you mark my words right now, if what I'm assuming Ahsoka is going to be about with the whole time traveling, the multiverse, they're going to have to tie somehow, Baby Yoda into that to try and, I guess, just have Rey and Baby Yoda in the same film. That's the only way you're going to succeed in any amount of having anybody getting any interest whatsoever into this idea. But at the end of the day, if this is a little bit confusing, I get it. But what I'm trying to get at with all of this, and specifically this new movie, is it is a desperation attempt. Nobody wants to watch a Rey film. You failed the sequel trilogy. Episode 7, again, I loved it. Episode 8 was a disaster. The worst film, probably one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life. Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, I did enjoy it, but it was such a shit show because J.J. Abrams, of course, had to try and fix the absolute shit show that was The Last Jedi. And that should have been it. You should have just stopped. We don't need any more because you've ruined it with those movies. So just the fact that you now are going to try and attempt a rebound, you may as well metaphorically get a gun and shoot yourself in the foot. It is not going to work. And I can promise you from here on out, will I watch it? Absolutely. But I'm not going to watch it in a theater. You can bet your ass I'm going to wait for that shit to come out on streaming services. Because there ain't no way I'm paying money to see a movie like that. I can promise you. And I can promise you too, a lot of other people will not do it either. So, it's just, I guess to kind of wrap this episode up, my heart aches for the fact that we officially say rest in peace to Star Wars. It's over. It's done. It's gone. We will always remember you. We will always love you. We will always continue to watch what was, but not what is now. And I hope you do the same. I really do. I hope, and I say this, stop giving them your money. Stop buying the toys, the lightsabers. Stop giving in to the crap. There is little glimmers of hope with Andor. They also announced The Acolyte and gave us a trailer, which maybe, I don't know. It's a very, very far maybe. Mandalorian is done. I genuinely, I don't even give a shit anymore if they make a season 4, which has not been announced yet, by the way. The Bad Batch, sure, I will hope that there is a season 3 because I did enjoy that. But when it comes to the movies, when it comes to the shows, everything else in between, Star Wars, just like Marvel, is dead. And there is no going back. And the only people to blame go by the name of Kathleen Kennedy. I thank you all so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, let me know. Send me a comment. If you didn't, comment about that too. I really would be curious what your thoughts are on all of this. keep your eyes tuned. We still got 2 more days of Star Wars Celebration, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. Share, like, comment, follow the whole 9 yards, everything you can with Spot of Nerd. And again, I guess part of me is just a little bit still speechless with all of this. But we'll continue this. We'll continue this talk well into the future, and gosh, I guess we'll pray and see what happens next. But until next time, folks, we'll see you next. Bye-bye.